Senate lawmakers approved sweeping changes to a controversial school curriculum bill Wednesday. Indiana Public Broadcasting's Jeannie Lindsay reports many Hoosiers testified they appreciate the effort but still have concerns.
The bill no longer requires that teachers post classroom materials online before an annual deadline or that schools create parent-led curriculum committees. It also reworks a section limiting the promotion of divisive concepts along the lines of race, ethnicity, and religion.
Parents want to be involved in their child's education, and so that's what the purpose of the bill is, to create a path so parents can be involved in their child's education.
Many say they still can't support the bill because it requires parent consent for ongoing student mental health support. Lindsay Paisley, a student at Purdue Polytechnic High School, is one of them.
The very same parents that need to give written consent could be the very root of the issue.
The bill also no longer includes an avenue for parents to file lawsuits against schools for violations of the legislation. The committee plans to vote on it next week. For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Jeannie Lindsay.
We're joined now by Steve Hennefeld, a former newspaper reporter who writes about Indiana education at School Matters. Welcome to the show, Steve. Always nice to have you here. So the Senate Education Committee has removed many of the controversial points, House Bill 1134. There's still concerns. What are those?
I think that there's concern that the bill is still somewhat restrictive. They really made it a whole lot better. They got rid of a lot of the really objectionable material in it. But there's still some hoops that schools have to jump through in order to provide counseling services to students. There's still a list of divisive concepts that the schools are discouraged from talking about or dealing with. Certainly it says they're not supposed to promote it, but that will spill over into saying that they shouldn't be talking about it. And then fundamentally, I think it sort of sends a message that teachers in schools aren't to be trusted, and that parents and teachers are adversaries rather than being on the same team.
You know, another topic of concern, not only for parents in Indiana, but around the country, is teaching critical race theory. But that's not being taught in grades K through 12 here, right?
Yeah, critical race theory is a kind of a high-level theoretical approach to understanding race and institutions that would typically be taught in law schools or maybe high-level graduate courses. You might encounter it, I suppose, in an advanced political science or high school history course or something like that. But it's become the term has become a shorthand for discussions that might make people uncomfortable having to do with race in society or race in American history, the impact of slavery and Jim Crow and so on. So this has been sort of an organized campaign to cast doubt on those topics by labeling everything as critical race theory.
You know, there were also attempts in legislation to make school board elections partisan, although those are dead right now. How do we get to this point of having political affiliation mattering in schools?
That's a really good question, I think. I mean, I think we saw, some very highly publicized, very vocal kind of outcries at school board meetings where people were showing up objecting to mask policies, objecting to curriculum, and that kind of thing. And it became identified with Republican and Democratic politics. And I think Republicans, the supermajority, saw this as a way to gain support politically by politicizing school board elections. Those bills died, did not go anywhere.
We just under 30 seconds. Any other legislation you're watching?
Yeah, there's been a lot going on. I mean, there's a bill that's passed out of the House. I'm not sure if it's going to advance in the Senate that requires public schools to share referendum funds with charter schools. That's a controversial idea that hasn't gotten a lot of attention in this session because of all the other things going on. And of course, the legislation that would ban trans girls from competing in girls' sports.
Steve, I'm sorry, we have to leave it there, but thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you, Joe.